Welcome. This is the module that focuses on green building and sustainable sites. I could say GB and SS, right? So we're going to start with each section of this module. This first video is your introduction to the module and describes what green building is and some resources that will help you understand what green building is. And then we're going to walk through each individual section of this module and get you oriented to the class, to the class's focus on green building and sustainable sites. So depending on where you are in this curriculum, this is week 2 if you're in the 30-day experience. This is week 3 if you're in the 8-week experience. So 4-week versus 8-week. And you can really do this at your own pace with the exception of when you need to wrap it up. You have to wrap it up within the 8 weeks. So just keep that in mind. So let's talk in terms of what a green building and sustainable site is. A green building, according to the United States Green Building Council, is a holistic concept. It begins with understanding that building can have an impact on our world, and it's important that we, who are the managers of these landscapes, that we do this in a responsible way. And to do this, we have to do it through a whole life cycle consideration. We can't just focus on one time frame. We have to think about the future and how our behaviors and the things that we do in these kinds of facilities are going to affect the future. So therefore that involves planning, design, construction, and most importantly operations. Lots of green buildings fail because they're not operated the way they were designed. They are operated wastefully, just like any wasteful design can be operated even more wasteful than it was originally designed. So we're going to focus on, in terms of green buildings, we're going to focus on energy uses, water uses, indoor air quality, material selection, and the building's effect on its site. But we're also going to consider things like social and recreational and maybe sometimes food, certainly other features of sustainability like waste management generated on site, how that's going to be handled. Will be considerations as well. The World Green Building Council, which is kind of an international focused body, focuses on many of the same things. They're a little more articulate about what these things mean to them, but it's all pretty much the same kind of focus. Other factors from my experience are that formerly polluted sites can be cleaned up to become sustainable sites and green building sites. Many urban areas are being redeveloped from dirty to green, so that certainly works well for that perspective. The new green building is a building that doesn't use any energy, that either generates its own energy and zeroes out its needs versus what it generates on site, or it creates extra energy, like the environment creates extra benefits for us every day, for the entire planet without it just being specific to one user group. And it also can be a building that has life in it, that creates oxygen and that creates food, as we've already alluded to. So buildings that go beyond the normal building process. And then it's important also to think about, it's real critical from a sustainable sites perspective. And sustainable sites integrate the same kind of definition that green building integrates. We're concerned about all those different uses of the site. But in sustainable sites, we're primarily concerned about avoiding green fields. We don't want to develop sites that are already natural. We want to focus on sites that were previously developed and optimize them. We also want to think about holistic design with the landscape around a particular green building and to integrate sustainable site planning all around that particular facility. And you'll see some videos from Nashville that give you some good examples of that. It's also important that buildings sometimes look like landscapes. You're going to see some examples of buildings that look like mountains, buildings that look like forests, buildings that look like lawns, buildings that have nature built into the outer skin, the vertical skin, the top part, as well as the interiors, which we've all seen plants inside of buildings as well.